It started from needing to strip down some characters of their personal narrative or their identity, and coming up with some way where they would awaken in some moment and have to explain why they would have done the things that it looks like they did. That was the kernel, because that meant that, great, we can get into all of the different aspects of the subjective experience and all of the things that we attribute to why we do the things that we do, why others do them to us, why we have the world that we do, and all of that. So that was the kernel, and then the rest of it, the weirder elements, were just a way to shortcut into that. And I mean, they had to fit their own criteria as well. That wasn't just anything will work. It had to be, in my mind, it had to be something that wasn't foreign, something that had always been here, but just outside our experience. And that meant it needed to be something involved with nature, and it needed to be cyclical. And so that meant it needed to be some sort of a life cycle of some kind. And so one thing led to another. It needed to carry forward with its own volition. That was important to me because I didn't want there to be somebody who was orchestrating this, because then they would be deemed a good or a bad person and all of that. So, putting those elements together and coming up with these 3 points on the triangle that are all doing what they're doing because they want or need to do them, but they don't really care what comes before or after, that's how this thing got as weird as it got, basically. Sorry, I lost the last part.
Oh, just how did you exactly map it out as far as what was going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, well, the 3-act structure?
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't know. I don't know really. I just know the first third of it. It's like you can't really do anything but. Well, that's not true. The decision was made to basically, this is the most locked down that we're going to be. We're going to show the mechanics of this world and do it in as close to a straightforward narrative as this film really is ever going to get, and that's what that was. And then the middle third was more, once Chris is a broken person, and once she meets Jeff and we're starting to hint that he's also broken as well, it just seemed like, great, we're just in the world of how they're reacting to the things that we've seen that they don't quite know about. And so that meant it needed to play a certain way. It needed to play subjective. I feel like I've said that word 1,000 times. I apologize. And then the last third is, it's sort of along the lines of what I was talking about. It's like we've got to, because I don't feel like narrative can preach. If it winds up at an ending that is too pointed or poignant, it's like I'm saying something. It's like I'm saying a truth, and I'm not here to speak a truth. I'm here to talk about the question, not the answer. So it's like we've got to bring this thing to an end. So how do you do that without seeming like it's the sum up of a lesson of some kind? And so, I mean, that and a bunch of other things led to us in a stark white space that is a stand-in for a pig corral, and we've got people that are stand-ins for all sorts of other things, and yeah, I mean, it just completely flips over. It just seemed that's where it has to be, because we've got Chris in a state of she's broken psychically. She's gone, and we exist in another place, and we're just following through. I'm very proud of the last third of this film. I think that it really does something that has rarely been done before. I think we trip into a world of almost nothing but subtext and a carry through of the momentum and the will that's been built up before then. And I think it makes sense from a plot perspective, but I think it makes more sense from the plot goes away and we are just looking at nothing but the things I described. And so I'm very proud of the way that we resolve this story without resolving her story, or maybe it's the other way around. But there's a lot that's being communicated, but it's not being talked about, and I feel like I'm still finding ways to verbalize that, but I know that it's a good thing. The shared memories bit in it, I'm very proud of that. That little 3-minute segment. Because I think that really encapsulates almost everything that's good about the film, where we've got relationships that are set up that are being affected by off-screen forces that are being lost in their own subjectivity, and in that 3-minute section, I think we really get to the heart of 2 things. One, something that feels like a common experience outside of these weird otherworldly pigworm life cycle things, but at the same time also staying true to the story. And it's like we get both at the same time, and that was something that was really hard to understand at the time. I had a hard time explaining why exactly we were going to be doing this the way that we were doing it, but I was very certain that that's how we needed to be doing it. And so it became more and more clear in the edit. And David Lowery, who's not here tonight, but was a wonderful editor, really put that together in one of the best ways. And I don't know what else more I could say about that. It's hard to talk about. I just know that it's a very good thing, and I know it's universal, and I know it's exactly what it needs to be. It's both the positive and negative sides of feeling like your identity is being lost in something, a relationship, a camaraderie, a group, anything. It's everything all in 3 minutes, and I'm really proud of that part of it.